Hello there everyone, welcome back to Press for Truth TV. Thanks for joining me once again. Today is Tuesday, January the 24th, 2012. And I was just recently going through a number of articles that were sent to me. And one of them in particular caught my eye and really stood out. And that's an article from the Toronto Star with the headline, "Toronto Seeks More Mandatory Vaccines." Now this of course is in regards to the school's inoculation program. Their current list of mandatory vaccines was written, I believe, over 22 years ago. So they want to add a whole bunch of new vaccines to the list to make it mandatory for your child to be enrolled in school, that they'll have to get these new vaccines. And here's the article, and I'll just read it to you. I can't seem to get it in focus with this particular camera, so sorry that it's a bit blurry, but it says, Toronto Public's Health Unit wants the province to consider expanding the list of mandatory vaccinations for Ontario's school children. The report, to be tabled on Friday at a meeting of Toronto's Board of Health, calls on the provincial health ministry to consider updating the group of immunizations required for school attendance to include more publicly funded vaccines. Although there appears to be growing opposition to vaccines among some parents, the school-mandated vaccination program has been so successful, achieving almost total compliance, that the Public Health Unit wants more vaccines added to the list. And one of the reasons why they're achieving almost total compliance is because as it sits right now, if your child does not get the mandatory shots, he or she will be suspended for 20 days from school. So in a lot of cases, these parents, to avoid a 20-day suspension for their child, will just go ahead and give them the shot. Now, there are ways around this that not a lot of people know about because it's never promoted or talked about. But you can actually get around this mandatory vaccine for your child without having them suspended for 20 days. And you can do that by filling out a waiver, an exemption form. And if you say that it goes against your religious beliefs, you will be exempted. So you fill out this form, you say, it's against my religion to vaccinate my children, so I don't want to do it. And you will be exempted and you won't have to do it. Now again, this is not very widely promoted, so not many people know about it. But that is one way to get around this. And, me personally, just something really just doesn't sit right with me when the government is medicating a population like that. It's one of the same issues I have with fluoride in the public drinking water. It's medicating the public without their consent or knowledge in most cases. So, having the school stick a needle in your child's arm because the government says you have to just doesn't sit right with me. And I just simply don't trust the program. There's been a lot of cases of bad side effects and deaths that have resulted that are never reported on by the mainstream media. You never hear about these, but these cases do happen. And I just think parents should have the option, and there's no way it should be mandatory. And we've been covering this issue for a few years now. In fact, you may remember back in 2009, remember the whole H1N1 pandemic hysteria that was going on in this country? I remember at the time, the health clinics were just overflowing with people lining up to get their H1N1 shot because the media was hyping it so much. In fact, we covered the whole thing. We went down to some of the flu clinics and interviewed some of the people in line who told us, when we asked them, why are you getting the shot? They told us straight up, because the TV said I should. We even pointed out, do you normally get the regular flu shot? And they said no. And we said, well, why do you feel the need to get this one, the H1N1? Way more people have died from the regular flu than have gotten sick from this H1N1. And they didn't really have an answer. Their answer was, well, it's been so hyped in the media, we figured we better do it. So I'll put a couple links of some of those videos in the description. We have a lot of good info in there about some of the health risks associated with taking vaccines, and also info on where you can download these exemption forms. And back when we were doing this, I was actually contacted by the CBC, and they wanted to interview me and get a glimpse into what our group was doing. Because at the time we were going out on the streets a lot, Yonge and Dundas, at Dundas Square, handing out DVDs, flyers, and pamphlets, just information about some of the health risks associated with vaccines. So this lady from the CBC wanted to interview me, so I set up. I set it up. Her and the film crew came down and met with us at Dundas Square. And at the time, my friend BK was very, very heavily involved in the middle of some deep research into this particular topic, so I thought he would be better suited for the interview. So when we got there, I asked him if he wouldn't mind, and he said, yeah, no problem. So I told that to the lady from CBC. She said that's fine. So she interviewed him instead, and I'm going to put a link to those videos as well, because if you want to see how it's done, BK handled it like a pro. If you're an activist who wants to learn how to deal with mainstream media interviews, please watch this video. She was doing everything she could to bait him in our group and to get a soundbite out of him that would make it look like we're some sort of fringe group that is a danger to society, and that we're going around telling people not to get the shot. And she kept trying to bait him to get that soundbite out of him. But if you watch the video, he did an outstanding job and would just never give her that soundbite she was looking for, and always would just say, all we're doing is providing alternative information for people who want to learn about some of the risks associated, because we're not getting that info from the government or from the media or for anywhere else for that matter. So all we're doing is providing information. So I'll leave you with that today. Go check out those videos if you have time. The one with the CBC interview is called The Shot is the Pandemic. It's a two-parter. And then I'll put links to the other videos as well, which contain a lot of information about the health risks associated with the vaccines. As I said, where you can get the exemption forms, and also how to, if you want to learn how to deal with mainstream media when they're questioning you about these kinds of things. It's all there in the description in those 4 videos. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in once again, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Take care.